All right, sorry about that.
No, you're okay. No worries at all. Cool,
All right.
cool. And we are ready. All right, I'll just intro it real quick and then you know what to do.
Yep.
15
You
podcasts
can.
this week. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, you guys. You have tuned back into Office of the Day. Today we do have a very special guest, Mr. Stephen Wible. I'll let you introduce yourself just because your background is very grand to say the least. So thank you so much for your time today.
Oh, my pleasure, Mark. Thanks for inviting me on today. I would say it's grand. I'm just old, and the older you get, the bigger the background gets, right? So,
Experience. That's
yeah.
amazing.
So my name's Steve Wible. I'm a key account manager here at Credit Suite Incorporated. We're a business credit company. But my background is I grew up in the manufacturing business. My father was in the printing business. His father was in it, and so was I. Uh, and that was that was prior to me joining the Marine Corps. Then I joined the Marine Corps, did my time there, got out, started my own company, built that up, sold it, got into real estate, flipped over 300 properties, had roughly the same amount of rentals that I kept. Was one of the top Remax agents in Colorado. I was basically a top real estate agent in New Jersey, and moved to Florida, still doing well in real estate. And I found this company and was like, wow, found my passion. I like, and I always thought it would be something where I would be the owner, but I honestly don't mind because this company has a great vision and I love just being part of it. And what they do, what they teach is immeasurably important for small business owners.
Right.
Immeasurably important, and not even for small business owners. I think you and I had a discussion last week. Maybe we didn't. I can't remember. I told you I
We
did
did, we
15
did, we did, we
podcasts.
did. Absolutely.
No, no,
Yeah.
no. I mean, we had a discussion about this one client I have that is doing 12 million, and they went to apply for a loan and they were turned down with good personal credit, good cash flow, everything looked great, but they had bad personal or bad business credit and they didn't even know they had a business credit profile. So that's why I'm here. I love talking about it. Is that better? Oh, we lost your sound, buddy. Oh, I guess I'm the host now. Not there. I hear something now.
Okay, now.
Yep, you're fine.
Okay, whatever. That's okay. That's okay. Yes, excuse all that. That we'll cut that out.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's go into that a little bit. Tell me what exactly business credit is and why people are so confused on how to attain business credit or even scared to apply.
Well, let's talk about what business credit is. Business credit is credit that can be attained in your company name that's not tied to you personally. Okay, so that's credit that the company gets that's not tied to you, which is fantastic on 10 levels, and we can dive into that a little bit. The reason that most people don't have a business credit profile that's strong, not that they don't have a business credit profile, because they do, whether they know it or not, they have one.
Right, right.
But the reason they don't have a strong one generally is because business credit doesn't happen organically. In other words, it's not like personal credit. Like if I apply for a Discover card today and I get approved, they're going to mail me the card. As soon as I activate it, the next billing cycle, even if I never use that card, that's going to show up on my personal credit report as an
Exactly.
active account, right?
Mhm.
Business credit doesn't operate that way. You have to actually attack it and intentionally build your profile. And the reason it's that way is because only 7% of businesses actually report to the business credit reporting agencies. However, ironically, over 97% actually use the business credit reports to offer you credit. So even the ones who are using it aren't reporting, right?
Right.
So therein lies the problem. So it's not going to naturally happen. You have to know how to build your profile. And the way to do that is to understand who reports and who doesn't. So that's your first goal, is to find out, if I get credit with this company, are they going to actually report or are they not going to report? The second thing is you have to know when to apply. You have to know what order to apply, because if you have nothing reporting in your business credit report, they actually give you a failing grade, Mark. So
Wow.
so you've done nothing wrong, right? If I pulled your business credit report, and I used to do this on podcasts, I don't do it anymore because it embarrasses everybody.
Okay.
But if I could pull your business credit report, which is public
Right.
information, I don't have to ask your permission to do it. I can just do it.
Exactly.
if there's nothing there, they give you a failing grade. They actually say this company has the potential to be bankrupt in the next 12 months. And you've done nothing wrong, right? There's no negatives reporting, just nothing reporting. Well, what's great about business credit is once you get something to report, that actually completely changes direction. It actually raises your score significantly. It lowers your risk factor, what they call a risk factor. So it's really important to have things reporting on your business credit report, and not just on one report. There are multiple business credit reporting agencies. Actually, there's lots of them, but the real main three, and I'll even say main two, would be Dun & Bradstreet and Experian.
Right. Of
Been,
course.
been around for 100 years. And look, we all know what they are. They're data salespeople, right? They're what did I hear somebody say the other day? They're hall whisperers. They kind of tell stories about people, right?
Exactly.
Well, you want to be in control of the story they tell, don't you? Right?
Absolutely.
Right. That's rumor central. You want to make sure the rumor that goes out about you is that you're a solid company. You're a good credit risk. So you have to consciously build your business credit profile. Now, I get asked this a lot. What is a strong business credit profile? Well, that's going to depend on what you're looking for, but typically we like to see 15 to 20 trade lines reporting or payment experiences. And we want to see limits in the anywhere from $20,000 to $50,000 range being recommended for you, and even higher, obviously. But that would be considered a strong or thick business credit profile. And when people hear that, they go, whoa, 20? I don't need 20 loans. No, we're not telling you to get loans. What we're telling you is find people you can do business with who will report your experience, right?
Right.
So if you sold widgets, Mark, and I used your widgets to manufacture my computers, right? Or, let's say computer chips, if you report, I would apply for credit from you. If you approve me based on my business credit profile, I would ask for net 30, net 60 terms, something along those lines. I'd buy, you'd ship, I'd wait the 60 days to pay you, whatever the terms were, pay that, and then you'd report that to the business credit reporting agencies. Right? That's a payment experience. That's a trade line. Okay. So we're looking to see 15 of those. Doesn't mean you're getting 15 loans. It just means you're doing business with at least 15 companies and or creditors who are willing to report up to the business credit reporting agencies.
Or expanding your profile at the same time, correct?
Well, that's exactly right. It's the benefit. And a lot of people that we recommend actually report to two agencies. So if they report to both Experian and Dun & Bradstreet, you're getting two trade lines for the price of one.
Right.
Now, I'm going to expand on that a little bit. The reason we can say you're getting two for the price of one, because if I pull your business credit report and let's say you have 10 trade lines, none of them will say who the company is that you're dealing with. They'll just say the product and or industry they're in, right?
Why is that?
Well, it's going to make good sense to you. I'm going to dive into my printing company history. Okay. So in the printing industry was really competitive, especially the era I was in the 90s. It was really, really, really competitive, 80s and 90s. And we all kind of competed for the same customers. If there was a $10 million, like when we were 15 million, our competitors were all roughly the same size, 15 million in sales. So we all had the same equipment, roughly, and we're competing for the same job. So then it just boils down to price and quality, right? Well, back when I was in the business, paper on the larger jobs was 50% of the job. So your cost and outside cost was 50% of what you were billing. Right?
Okay.
So if I could buy it 10% less than you, I've got a huge advantage, don't I?
Yeah, for sure.
Right? You're my competitor. Well, if they report on the business credit reporting agencies, you can pull my business credit report, because remember, you don't need my permission, right? And see who I'm doing business with. Now you know who I'm buying my paper from, right?
Exactly.
So they don't want to expose that. So instead of saying, let's say Risk Paper Company, it would say paper manufacturer or paper supplier. That's all we'll say.
That way you don't know exactly what company it is.
Exactly. As a matter of fact, I've had business credit with both Home Depot and Lowe's when I was in the real estate business, and they show up exactly the same way. Hardware supplier. That's all it says. Doesn't say Home Depot, doesn't say Lowe's.
How are they able to do that to differentiate the different companies?
Well, they have their own code, obviously.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Got it.
So you've got to have the key to that code. But if you pulled my report and didn't know the code, you'd be like, well, man, he's got credit with at least two hardware suppliers, right?
Exactly.
And it looks like his limits are $100,000, and it looks like he pays on time. The reason they make it quote unquote public is because I'm going to reverse it. Instead of me worried about getting credit from you, I want to buy widgets from you to build my computer. but I want to make sure you pay your suppliers because I don't want to lose my supply chain, right? If you
Of
get
course
cut
not.
off. So I'm going to pull your business credit report, make sure you pay your bills before I do business with you. And by the way, that happens a lot, a tremendous amount. When I was doing business with the government, I couldn't get my contracts to be any higher than they were. And they were really small. And we were a big company getting little contracts. I'm like, why are they so small? Well, I found out they pulled my business credit report and there wasn't much reporting. So I had to
Because
consciously
Mhm.
attack that, build that profile. A year later, I was getting six-figure contracts now instead of these little $2,000, $3,000 jobs because the government wanted to make sure that I paid my bills.
Exactly.
Right? They don't want to give me a contract for $100,000 and I don't perform because then that person's job is on the line.
Yeah, and
Right?
then they're investing in essentially nothing, correct?
Correct. Right. So that's why your business credit profile is so important. Even if you've never even considered it for the last 10 years, you've been in business 10 years, it's never something you even thought about. There's going to come a day where you're either going to go after a customer that you can't get, or you're going to go for a loan and they turn you down and you're not going to know why. You're going to be like, wait a minute, my personal credit's good, my cash flow is good, everything's good. Matter of fact, the SBA is probably considered one of the hardest loans to get. I find that funny. I think it's one of the easiest loans to get. But why people think it's hard is because one of the things they'll check is your business credit profile.
Exactly.
So if you've got nothing reporting, they have no choice but to look into your personal credit deeper, don't they?
Absolutely. And I was watching some of your videos prior to this too. And I love how, can you please break it down for my listeners, please?
Okay, so that they'll look deeper. We have what we call a fundability wheel. It's got about 180, 130 fundability factors, something along those. It's just a monster number.
Right.
I usually like to talk about 5 of them. And
Okay.
the reason I like to talk about these 5 is because they're easy,
Hmm.
but it actually in today's day and age, especially in this remote work day and age, people fail. Businesses fail, and then what happens? They go to apply for credit and they get denied, but they don't get you're denied. It's not like you personally going for a mortgage where they say you're approved or denied. They actually get this response. Okay, it looks like we're going to need your social security number. That's a denial. They're saying they don't trust your business. They want you personally to be on the hook for this, right? But here's how funny this is. They could be turning you down for a really silly reason like this. Your business email address is I have a business at yahoo.com. You're laughing, but I'm telling you, 9
No,
out of 10
no.
people I talk to
Yeah.
have that exact situation. Gmail, Yahoo, Hotmail, if it's even around, AOL, something
I
like
would say it's safe to argue that people that do that, they're not fully invested as of yet. It's more of a side hustle that they want to, make it look like that's their full-time thing. That's why I feel that many people do have this issue.
I agree with you in a sense, except that I talk to 100 business owners a day, some
Okay.
in business 8, 10 years, same email address.
And they're so hard-headed, to say the least, to change it and get the info
Right,
at.
right. Info at your website. I mean, it's really not that difficult. It's $19 to buy the 14 to $19 to buy it from GoDaddy to get, and then add on the emails at what, $5 a month or something.
It's
You've been in business 10 years. Look, you got to see it from the reverse. All right.
right.
That's why I like to say to people, look, you're looking for credit. You're looking for credit. You can't understand why you're not getting it. Turn the tables. I come to you and I want to borrow money from you, or I want to get credit from you for your widgets once again. And I fill out the application, and here's what I put.
Mhm.
Put the company name, and I put my email is I own a business at gmail.com. So now you're going, whoa. The next thing I put down is my business phone number, and it's a throwaway cell phone that I can buy at Walmart,
Yeah.
right? So it's a
Yeah.
burner, what they call a burner phone. And then my address is a PO box or a UPS box. How comfortable are you going to be giving me $50,000 in credit, $20,000, any credit?
They won't be
No,
comfortable
because
at all.
they can't find you.
Yeah.
You're a ghost, right? You have a free email account. They can't track it. You got a throwaway cell phone and you got a PO box. No, if you're going to be in business, be in business. Okay. Here's what they're looking for. They're looking for info at yourwebsite.com,
Right.
right? Not even your name. They want info at. That's going to make you look larger. All right. And that's really the goal. You want to put your best foot forward, right? You don't want to go into court wearing sweatsuit. You know what I mean? You want to show up in a suit and tie, right? You don't want
Exactly.
to go in to see your banker wearing flip flops and shorts unless you're billionaire, and then you can do whatever you want. But generally, you want to show up looking respectable.
Exactly.
Same thing with your company. You want to make sure when you put your foot forward on an application, you look as respectable as possible. These are what we call fundability factors, but what they really are, Mark, is fraud detection. They're just making sure you're not somebody trying to commit fraud. Because remember, this is credit that's not tied to you personally. So they can't go after you if you don't pay for it, right?
Yeah, from
So,
your experience, have you seen a lot of people that have tried fraud and or have heard stories about this? Sorry to
well,
interrupt. That was just a quick.
yeah, I've heard about it. The truth of the matter is I don't run into many because we're teaching them the right way.
Correct. Got it. Cool,
Right.
cool, cool,
So,
cool,
so
cool,
we're
cool.
now that's not saying we haven't taught people how to build a business credit profile and they build up their business credit and then they get the big loan and they don't pay it. I don't know. They're not going to come back and tell us
Got it.
about it.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Yeah.
they'd be
Yeah. Yeah.
embarrassed
Yeah.
to tell us, but
Yeah.
but
Continue. Excuse me.
right. No, that's okay. No, it's a great question. It's interesting, actually. So first thing, email, make sure it's good. Now that's not going to get you an automatic denial, but that's going to be a red flag for them to look at you deeper. And what we're really trying to accomplish is automated approvals.
Right.
And you know what an automated approval is, right? You apply online and the computer spins for a minute or two and boom, you're approved, right? That's what we
Yes.
want.
Yes.
Okay. And the artificial intelligence looks at all this information and makes a decision. Okay. So first thing, business email. Second thing, and I touched on it, was a phone number. Don't use your cell phone for your business. Get a real business phone number.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not telling you to contact somebody and buy an AT&T Merlin system, right? What I'm telling you is get what's called a voice over IP, a VoIP.
Yeah.
Right?
Like,
Most of you out there are familiar with this. You're familiar with Google Voice, right? That's technically a VoIP. However, it's not yours. It's free. If it's free, it's not for me, right? That means
exactly.
it's not yours. It's theirs.
Exactly.
Right? So if you go to list that with a little database we call the National 401 database, it's going to come up as Google, not as Credit Suite, as my business, right? Or our business. Instead, get yourself something like Ring Central or Grasshopper. Some of you have probably seen the commercials for that. Ring Central is our favorite because you go to Ring Central, you get a toll-free number and a local number and even a fax number. Don't laugh at me. Trust me, fax numbers are important. You want to get
They
all
are.
three
They
of them.
are.
Yeah. I mean, banks use faxes, right? So you want to get those three numbers. They forward to your cell anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So except for the fax, obviously it goes to your email. So you're not missing any calls, but it's professional. They can set up answering service, call forward. There's a million things you can do with that to sound like a real business. But the most important thing is you can list it with the National 401 database. For those of you who aren't old enough to remember picking up the phone on the wall and dialing 411 and getting Joe's Pizza, they would connect you, give you the address and the phone number back then.
Right.
That database still exists. It's just digital now.
Yeah.
Artificial intelligence can check that in 1/10 of a second to see if you're listed. If you're not listed, red flag number 2.
And what website do they go to do this?
Well, in our case, we do it for them.
Okay,
Right?
cool, cool, cool,
Right.
cool, cool.
And I think it's listmenow.org or .net. I hate to give it out because I'm always wrong. My advisors yell at me. We have a whole team of advisors and they yell at me. You're giving out the wrong one. I think it's listmenow.org. .net.
Last night on the video you stated listme.net is what I
Is it
remember.
listme?
Yeah, listme.net. That's what
okay.
Mhm.
All right. And that could have been wrong. Who knows? Like I said, I get yelled at all the time about it because I'm not part of the back end.
Right.
Anyhow, and I don't need to know it because we do it for people for free.
Right.
We give them the expanded listing. Okay, so that's the phone. Third thing, critical, your address. There's only 3 passing grades in the business credit world for an address. 3.
Right.
A would be a commercial address. B would be what's called a virtual address, and I'm going to dive into that a little deeper here.
Okay.
And C will be your home. Okay, so you're going to hear a lot of videos from us that says, "Hey, don't use your home, don't use your home." That's only because the limits tend to be higher. But in today's day and age, this is 2021 now, right? Where's everybody working?
From home.
Right. So using the home's okay. I built my printing company. I started in my basement. It was there for 2 years before I ended up with a commercial building.
Right.
My real estate, exactly the same thing. About 1.5 years before I actually ended up with a commercial building. So working from home is not a stigma. So use your home address. But if you don't want to expose where you live, because remember, business credit reports are not free, but accessible by anybody, then you can use what's called a virtual address. And this is where I want to dive in. I'm comfortable with 3 virtual address companies: Regus, REGUS, Alliance virtual offices, and there's another one called Opus, who I hear is beginning to report on the business credit report. So that actually is going to be a real benefit if that's the case.
Yeah, Regis is impeccable. I love them.
Right. Now, there's a company out there called iPostal, and this is not a shot at iPostal, because they are good for what they do. They advertise as if they're a virtual office. Okay.
Okay.
And I'm gonna tell you how creditors see this. It's
Mhm.
really easy to figure out whether you have a PO box or a UPS box or a whatever. When they give you the street address, because they always do, they always give you an address and they make it sound like it's a legitimate address. Go to Google, type in the address. It's going to pull up on the map, go down to street level so you can see the building. If it looks like a retail store, congratulations, you have a PO box. Right? If it looks like an office building, high rise glass building, something you would go into, I don't know, meet an attorney or something along those lines, that's probably a virtual office.
Exactly.
Okay. But I literally had somebody give me their address, I don't know, maybe a month ago. And I said, well, let me check it out. He goes, oh, it's guaranteed. It's a virtual address. I said, well, let me check it out. So I pulled it up and I started laughing. And he said, what are you laughing at? I said, well, you should have told me you own Staples. It was Staples.
Oh my gosh.
They have like a little PO box type thing inside Staples. I said, if I was going to lend you money, I'd be like, wait a minute, this is a Staples. Are you trying to commit fraud? Who are you? You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
The credibility goes right out the window.
Exactly. So there's your address. The 4th item, shouldn't even have to bring this up, but if you own a business, please have a business checking account. I mean, that goes without saying. But more importantly,
many people don't do that though. So I understand why you bring that.
They're setting themselves up to have a major problem with the IRS. If you have an LLC, C corporation, whatever, I'm not talking about sole props. Sole props is basically you are the company, so it's kind of doesn't really matter, except in it from an accounting point of view. But as a sole prop, you can't build business credit anyway because the credit is yours personally.
Right.
You're a sole proprietor. I'm talking about LLCs, corporations, etc. Don't register your company today and then wait a year to open your bank account. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Right. I've seen people do this. It's a mistake because you have something called a bank credit score where lenders can check that. They're not going to expose the balance you have in your bank account, but they do give you a grade 1 to 5 based on your average balance over 90 days. And it's a window. And what I mean by a window is 0 to 5,000, 5 to 25,000, 25 to 50,000, 50,000 plus.
Absolutely.
Right? So that's a little bit of information to give, but the important information is, when did you open the account?
Yeah. And the history matters.
Right. So if I tell you I've been in business since 2015, right, I put that right on my application, and time matters to creditors. It really does matter. Matter of fact, so if I say 2015, that's 6 years. And then you pull my bank credit score and it shows I've had a bank account continuously for only the last 9 months. That's a fraudulent application. You lied.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you what happens. You might get away with it for 1 or 2 vendors that will report. And about 3 months into it, you'll suddenly get turned down. You'll be like, why am I getting turned down everywhere? And you'll pull your Dun & Bradstreet file and it'll have fraud written right across it.
Because it's not congruent.
Yeah, it's you either bought a shelf corporation, you're trying to defraud the lenders, saying, look, I've been in business 10 years. No, you haven't. You've been in business when you opened your bank account, right? Because now you got revenue.
Yeah, because that's where the money is going, or is supposed to be going.
So it doesn't mean you have to have revenue to build business credit. What I'm getting at is, if you open a business, open your bank account the same year, calendar year.
And I'm going to add a quick sidebar really quick. A question that I wanted to ask even prior to this call. If, let's say, my company right now, the Dun & Bradstreet, with Dun & Bradstreet, the score is 670. What recommendations would you do to get that up to the, all the way? I believe the top is 800 for.
No. It's not 670. You're saying 60. It's 67.
67. Yes. Sorry. Yes. 67. Excuse me.
To an 80. Okay. So let me explain their scoring method real quick. 80 means you pay on time.
Okay.
Anything below 80 means you pay late.
Okay.
If you get really low, that means you not only are paying late, you're not paying at all.
Right.
So your people are giving you credit. You just blew off the invoice. Okay. So what's acceptable in the credit world is a 78, which means you've been late a few times, but it's no big deal because every business has those cash crunches, right? Have a month that's down, instead of paying in net 30 or 60, you pay it 5 days late, 10 days late, 20, whatever.
Right.
So you want to achieve an 80 payday score. 90 means you are paying early. 100 means expect to get paid early. That's a rare score, a 100. Okay.
Yeah.
So 80, I know we were all raised with 80 being like a C, right? In school.
Yeah. Yeah.
80 means perfect pay.
So all it comes down to is just paying your bills on time to get it up faster.
It's exactly right. Pay your bills on time. There's some other algorithms that are involved, that how much credit do you have and all that, but most of your score is based on how you pay your bills. That's why we call them payment experiences. It's not like personal credit where you have to worry about utilization, mix of credit, all that stuff, how long you've had it, has nothing to do with that. It's how do you pay your bills.
So just in the most simple retrospect, if you're sitting at a 67, just continue to pay your bills on time, and eventually it'll get up to that 80 mark. Quickly.
It will. Now, first of all, to generate a paydex score with Dun & Bradstreet, you need three trade lines reporting.
Okay.
Right? They won't even generate a score with less than 3 trade lines. Okay. Usually it comes right out of the gate as an 80 because you paid on time. If you paid late in your first couple of vendors, you got some work to do.
Yeah.
So you should be an 80. Anyway, and this is literally, we could do a whole episode on scoring because you got Experian, Equifax, but
let's go back.
We could get way down that rabbit hole and get lost. So anyway, so we were talking about bank accounts. So the bottom line is, ladies and gentlemen, open your business. Either don't get your business going yet if you can't afford it, or when you open it, immediately the second thing you should do, you've registered, you got your EIN number, you got all your paperwork, go to the bank, open a bank account, put $50 in, you got a bank account, right?
Absolutely.
Now you are legitimately in business. All right. Last but not least, we were just talking about Dun & Bradstreet, so that's perfect. You need to get what's called your DUNS number, DUNS number.
Okay.
I'm going to start off with what I think is obvious, and I can't believe people fall for it. It is free, 100% free. They are required to give you this number. However, for some reason, Dun & Bradstreet could take up to 30 days to generate a random number, right? Wow. And it's not really random. I mean, they have to assign it to you, right? It takes them up to 30 days. It's not because they can't produce that number in 8.5 seconds. It's because they need 30 days for their telemarketers to begin calling you to sell you something. Okay. So they're going to sell you their business credit building program. Then they're going to sell you their secondary business credit building program. And then when all else fails, they're going to say, hey, for X dollars, whatever the number is currently, we can verify that your information is accurate. How do you do that? Well, we reach out to you and verify the information is accurate. Well, I'm giving you the information, so it's accurate, right?
Legal criminals.
Yeah, you get my point, right? So you don't need to buy anything from them. Now they do have. Listen, I'm going to give them props for this. In order to do business with the federal government, actually from the county level on up, you need to have a strong Dun & Bradstreet profile. We talked about that. We touched base on that.
Right.
Sometimes it's difficult for people to wait to build that because that can take time, 6 to 8 months. Dun & Bradstreet actually has a program where they'll place trade lines for you based on who you're already doing business with, right? So let's say none of your suppliers report, but you've got a nice long history with them. Let's say, once again, me and you, I'm buying your widgets for years and years and years. What they'll do, if I pay Dun & Bradstreet a few $1,000s, they'll place that trade line for me and up to X amount of trade lines to generate that paydex score and to show history, so the federal government will do business with me. I am just fine with people paying for that service if it's going to pay off in spades because you have a contract waiting, right? Other than that, don't waste your time, because next year when the contract expires, you got to pay them again, and all those trade lines are dead. Wow. They're inactive. Yeah. So it's a great program if you're trying to win a contract where you're required to have a really strong profile. I got no problem. Whatever it costs, it's worth it. But if you're just trying to build your business credit profile, that's a waste of money. You must take your wallet, drive down the street, and throw it, because you're literally wasting money. I'm sure I'll get sued just for saying that. Anyhow,
no, you won't. You're fine.
I know.
I mean, for a while we won't be on the radar, at least for me. But I'm already in 8 different countries now, thankfully. So I
There
mean,
you go.
eventually they
Perfect.
will be.
Yeah. So, all right. So
Keep
get your
going.
DUNS number. It's free. You can go to dnb.com.
Okay.
That's Delta Nancy Bravo.com. Okay. Search for your company info because people are going to be shocked that they have a DUNS number and didn't know it. Because if you've been in business over a year, the odds are you have a DUNS number.
Right.
The way to find it is the smart move is to go to the Secretary of State's website, whatever Secretary of State, whatever state you're in,
Right.
wherever your business is registered. Search for your company. When you find it, open it up, copy the way it's in there, and then go into the DMB site and paste exactly what was in.
Yeah, it needs to
In
be
other words,
exact.
the
Correct.
spelling exactly. You don't want to misspell it. Forget a period, forget a comma, something, because they may not find it. Okay, so put it in there, put your state in, and then hit search. If you find a million people with the same name as you, a million companies or similar, just then put your county in. But using the state, you can pop it up. Now, if nothing comes up, if it comes up no results, you're going to see a little button that says apply for your DUNS number now. If it comes up, it'll say email me a copy of my DUNS number, and you can just click that button and get them to email you a copy of your DUNS number. Okay.
Perfect.
So there you go.
Perfect.
For all you people in business over a year and you're not sure, that's the best way. If you get on the phone with them, be prepared. Hey, Mark, you're going to need to buy our business credit builder if you really want to. So if you can do the email thing, it's a lot easier on you.
Yeah. So make sure you guys, everybody that has tuned in and that is listening, make sure you guys take all the proper precautions and obviously the time beforehand to get your business going. That way, when you're ready to apply for a loan or ready to apply for your business credit line, you're actually going to be able to have the possibility of getting approved as opposed to not.
Right. As a matter of fact, let's talk about, we said, what is business credit? Let's talk about what business credit is not.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do that.
Because people get really confused.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand why they get confused because we use terms like this, lines of credit, right? And as a consumer, when you hear line of credit, what do you naturally think? If I offered you a line of credit, what would you think I'd be offering you? Well, no, I'm offering you an opportunity to write a check against this line of credit to pay for something, whether it's a pool or an addition or whatever, pay off college. So the problem is that's our mindset as consumers. But from a business point of view, if I applied for credit for your widgets and you said, yes, Steve, I will allow you to buy $100,000 in widgets from me at one time, but that's it, not 101,000, 100. Do I not have $100,000 line of credit with you?
Exactly.
Right. So when we talk about lines of credit, it doesn't mean you go into a bank and they're going to issue a line of credit that you can just write a check on. Okay. Lines of credit can be anything from what we just discussed to a credit card. You get an American Express, that's technically a line of credit, right? Capital One, line of credit, a Visa, MasterCard, whatever. That's a line of credit. That's business credit can achieve those things. What business credit's not going to get you, it'll stop you, but it won't get it for you by itself, is cash. Okay, so if you're a business owner out there listening right now and you're like, man, I really need $100,000 infusion of cash right now, and you have a great business credit profile, that's awesome. That's going to help you, but they're going to look at your personal credit. They're 100%, or at least an asset, right? The 3 C's, cash flow, credit, or collateral, right?
Yeah, if you're looking to forget $100,000 in cash, is getting sales. It's a safer route.
Right. So they're going to look at those items. Now, so you can't get it on business credit alone, but I will tell you this, you can get turned down for a cash loan when you have all that good stuff if you have a bad business credit profile. So absolutely. That's why it's important to talk about it. So maybe it's not something that you think is super important, but you will when you go for a loan and you get denied, or an SBA loan and you get denied, because the SBA definitely looks at your business credit profile. And by the way, you probably don't hear me talk about this if you listen to my podcast, but it's true. I just never think about it. So do insurance companies. So if you need liability insurance for your business, some type of coverage, they're going to pull your business credit profile. Now, why would they do that, Mark? Why would they pull your business credit profile to buy insurance?
To make sure that you're going to pay the insurance on time.
No, good guess, but no.
Okay.
If they pull your business credit profile and you're not paying anybody, that means you're in financial dire straits. Who typically commits insurance fraud?
People in business.
People in dire straits, right?
Can you break the dire straits? Is it
dire straits? They're in trouble. They need money.
Okay, right. Got you.
So they commit insurance fraud. Somebody can't afford their car. They ram into the back of somebody else. right?
Right.
They
Right.
get
Got
it, they
it.
get it, they get it stolen,
Okay.
right? That's why, that's why when you go for auto insurance, they'll pull your personal credit. That's the reason they pull your personal credit. They want to see how you are financially, because if you're what they consider high risk or not financially responsible, they're going to charge you a much higher rate,
Of
right?
course.
Same thing happens in business credit. So if you need $1 million in liability insurance for your business, you could literally save thousands of dollars a year just on your rate, just because you're responsible and your business credit report looks like you're responsible,
Right.
right? If
Right.
there's nothing
Absolutely.
there, if there's nothing there, remember they give you a negative that there's nothing there, they're going to assume you're not responsible. Remember, insurance companies are always going to lean towards conservative, right? So they're going to just have to give you the worst rate just in case.
Yeah. I
So,
mean,
so
at the end of the day,
yeah,
they're in business too.
right. So I mean, it's even if you don't get credit, and of course you will, that's the whole point of building business credit, that alone is worth the price of admission. On top of that, every business owner I know, small business owner, not big, not 15 million and higher, but small business owners, I talk to them. I always ask them, hey, what kind of car do you drive? And they think I'm interested in the car. I don't really care about the car. What I want to know is, whose name is it in? Well, it's in my name. Okay, what do you use it for? Well, it's strictly business. It's strictly business. So, okay, so you're a contractor, you're driving an F-150, let's say that's your preferred truck.
Right.
You use it strictly for business because you have another vehicle for home. Why would you buy that car in your name, that vehicle in your name? Why wouldn't you buy it in the business name using business credit, which you can absolutely do without a personal credit check?
Lack of knowledge, lack of education, lack of
Yes,
looking for it.
that's my point. I'm trying to let people know that you can do that. It's actually really simple. It's really, really simple to do.
What
You
would be
just
the
have to
first
know.
steps to do that?
You got to start with the fundability factors, right? Then
Right.
you've got to begin to build your business credit profile. And that's kind of where our program comes into it. If people are interested, they can go to creditsuite.com/pod-EIN and get a free EIN guide. They can get a guide on building business credit.
So you said it's not your company. Are you? I'm sorry to interrupt you, and I'll let you continue on that. You're not the owner of the company, but you do work directly with the owner, or what's your
Oh
title?
yeah, yeah.
Okay, cool.
I'm big cheese nobody.
Oh, no, that's cool. I asked
No,
because I would love to.
I'm a key account manager.
Oh, okay, key account.
I work with high end companies who understand business
Okay,
credit. But I get into the trenches too. Before COVID, I was traveling the country talking to real estate investors about business credit because
yeah,
obviously I understand that business. I'm a kind of a utility infielder. I do it all because I've been
okay,
self-employed, right?
okay.
So you know, if you've had employees, you get people that are really good at their job, but you don't want to take them out of that job because they're not good at anything else. I'm one of those weird people. I'm not great at anything, but I'm good at everything. So I just do
There's
podcasts.
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
That's
so
exactly how I am.
yeah, it's kind of like I'm a, I think the problem is I get bored really easily. I work really hard to get good at something, and then when I'm done with it, I'm done with it. I move on. I mean, I'm a psycho with hobbies. Golfing, got down to a 7 handicap, quit. Fishing, could go anywhere I wanted to in the Gulf of Mexico and Florida, and know I could catch fish. Quit. Sold my boat. I mean, bowling. I used to have a 200 average. Quit. I'm just weird
Right.
like that.
No, it's
So
just because what's next? I need to learn more. I want to learn more. I want to
challenge.
continue. I need a new challenge in front of me.
And actually, believe it or not, this was a challenge to me because this is my first job. I'm 55. I've never been employed.
Wow.
I've always
Yeah.
been self-employed. Well, that's not true. My father hired me. Obviously, I worked for him when I was a kid. The
Same.
Uncle Sam hired me.
Right. Right.
But everything else was self-employed. This is my first job. It's so weird to be like, I'm employed. But anyway, you can reach out to me anytime. I'm happy to help. I'm officially on the sales team.
Well, that's why I asked too, because I would love the opportunity to talk to you and the owner to be able to market it for you guys and get a percentage, and we can up the price potentially and up and get like a 20% for marketing it and give me a
I,
referral code if
I don't
possible.
know. I don't know if I would do that. Say that on my podcast, but yeah, we could absolutely have that
Oh no,
conversation.
we'll cut that out. We'll cut that out.
Oh, okay.
I have a master editor, so we're good.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's what I do. I manage people just like yourself.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm doing a landing page for somebody right now. It's got 2,000 franchises. So,
2000.
oh yeah, that's a small one. I'm going after one with 10,000 franchises. Sure. Think about it. Every franchise owner is a what? A business owner, right?
Right. Right.
One thing they need more than anything is credit,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So Why not go after them? I mean, look, every business owner needs credit. And sometimes it feels like my podcasts are geared towards brand new businesses, but they're not.
Okay.
Every business needs it. If you're not sure, go pull your business credit report. Go to our website. We actually will give you 30 days free to look at all your business credit. We'll give you all 3 business credit reports just to see what's on there.
Absolutely.
Right? And then our team's happy to go over with you and give you a plan for free. We're not going to charge you anything. We might try to sell you something, but we're not going to charge you anything to go over the plan and kind of guide you through that process to get you set up the right way and or at least moving in the right direction. Then if you see real value in that, then we're happy to talk about taking you to the next level. I mean, that's really what we are. We're an education company.
That's perfect. And that's the kind of way to do business. And not only that, to do business, but to educate. If you're able to educate your clients on what you are selling or what you are looking to help with, more than likely they're going to open their checkbook because you're giving them actual knowledge that's going to get them the money right back, essentially, in theory,
Yep.
if they implement what they need to do as well.
I actually had somebody say to me, I don't understand why are you giving me all this free info? And I said, what are you talking about? I said, you haven't even talked to me about what you guys do, like price. I said, go try out what I just told you. Come back. If it works, then we'll talk about it.
Yeah, if you don't like what I have to say, then you don't.
To me, it's like going into a bakery, right? To me, my favorite thing, and I'll tell you who's good at this. There's a company called Publix down here in Florida.
Okay.
It's like an Acme or whatever your shopping center is, ShopRite. All right.
Right.
When you go to the deli, they slice the deli and they always give you a sample. Always give you a sample. Right?
That's impeccable.
They'll say, hey, is that the right thickness for you? Yeah. Well, here, go ahead, taste it. Right? Well, that's brilliant.
That is brilliant.
Because I'm going to tell you how many times I've tasted something I've ordered from them and doubled my order. Man, that's really good. Give me 2 pounds of that instead.
Yeah.
So we're doing the same thing. We're letting people taste the brownie, taste the lunch meat. If they're happy with it, and they will be, I guarantee they will be, then maybe we can come back and talk about how we can take it to the next level.
And that's serving the client ultimately. Excuse me to interrupt. It's serving. You have to serve. Continue, please.
Right. And that's what we do. And that's why our company doubles in size every year. We're getting bigger and bigger and bigger because we're really the only ones that are doing it the right way, the organic way. And here's what I mean by organic. We talked about going to Dun & Bradstreet and paying them to place trade lines. With what we show you, we're going to introduce you to people who report organically. You don't have to pay them to report. You just have to buy something from them or get credit from them, and they'll report. You don't have to ask them to do it. So you're going to build your business credit profile while getting credit for things you already need. If you're buying office supplies and you don't have business credit for that, you're out of your mind.
Right.
If you're in construction and you don't have a pro account with one of the major retailers, construction retailers, you can get credit that's not tied to you personally. You're out of your mind. Why would you finance them? Let them finance you. They're bigger than you.
OPM.
Right. 100%. Look, I always say that, hey, they're bigger than you. Let them finance you. But you know what? The biggest retailer in the world, in the country, is Walmart, right? I know Amazon's bigger, but I'm talking about retail stores.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Their entire business plan is based on business credit. They don't pay for anything on their shelf. It's all on terms. All of it. You go in there and buy a bicycle. They haven't paid for that thing yet. Right?
You did,
depending.
But we did.
But what you did is you're financing Walmart now, right?
Absolutely.
So they're getting credit from their vendors. You're paying cash, right? You're paying cash, swiping a credit card, whatever. So they get the cash. Then they pay their vendors. More importantly, they pay their vendors way down the road. So they get to use that money for free for time.
Oh, wow. That opens up a lot of opportunities, I would assume.
Yes. And I know this for a fact because I did business with Walmart. When I had my printing company, they were one of my customers.
Right.
So I understood how they paid their bills. They weren't late. They demanded those terms from me. And I had to figure out a way to make that profitable because I still had to pay my suppliers. Right. So I either had to get my suppliers to give me the same terms, or I had to front the cash and have enough profit in it. And after a few years, I decided I was done with Walmart.
They're ridiculous.
The margins were so slim, it just wasn't worth it.
Right.
But I knew it going in. Right. So if it's good enough for Walmart, why isn't it good enough for you? Right.
Exactly.
I mean, and by the way, this isn't new. The whole reason Sam Walton did so well is he got out of the war. He got out of the army. He was served in World War II. Worked for JCPenney. Decided he wanted to open his own retail. Thought he could do better. Went to all the suppliers that he wanted to put products on the shelf and negotiated business credit terms with them. So this started when he started. This isn't something new for them. They literally started off with him putting up no money, right?
Yeah.
They bought his idea. So there you go.
Bought his
So if you,
idea, his model, and not only that, he made it.
and guess
That's
what? He was right, right? So that's the reality of it. You need to have business credit, even if it's not for loans. If you're manufacturing, if you're custom printing T-shirts, you need to get the T-shirt supplier to give you credit, which means you need to have a strong business credit profile that you can present to them and say, hey, I expect terms. If I don't get it from you, I'll get it from somebody else. I have a strong business credit profile. But you can't do that if you don't, because
right.
they're going to look at it and it's going to say, don't trust this company.
Yeah. Who is this company?
Right, right. Even if you've been doing business with them a long time. So anyway, that's why business credit is so important. Every business should build it. And if you could start early, that's just so much the better, because it actually expedites the process. In other words, it allows you to scale that at a much greater rate as your business grows. I can tell you that it typically takes about a year as a brand new business to build a strong business credit profile.
Okay.
If you're existing over a year old, you're probably 6 to 9 months. Okay.
Yeah. So that's the first plan that you guys offer, right? What I saw was a 6-month plan on the website.
No, it's 5 years. We give access to the program for 5 years. We have a payment plan. It's 7 payments. Right?
7 payments. Okay, gotcha.
Right. And then we discount it if you pay for it all at once. But either way, you get 5 years access. You get 1 year of advising and coaching, accountability coaches we have that
Very
guide you
cool.
through the process. So yeah, there's a lot of effort. There's not a ton of margin in what we do, but there's a lot of love, right? A lot of commitment. We
Right.
love what we do. So our goal is to, we've served over 40,000 customers. Our goal is 5 million, right? It's hard to reach 5 million people, right? 5 million business owners
But the
who
way that you
understand.
guys are going about it, you're going to be able to reach that very fast, I believe.
Oh yeah, we will. Like I said, we keep doubling. So we're expecting that to have, to get to that number, but that's our big audacity, our audacious goal is to serve over 1 million business owners. And if you think about it, that's nothing. You know how many businesses get registered every day in this country? 100,000.
At least.
Yeah, every day. I just want to get to 1 million of them, right? 10 days
That's
worth.
that's an attainable goal. It's very attainable. Probably even faster than what you guys think, especially with you doing the podcast and giving all this amazing information, to say the least.
Well, I can tell you in our Facebook page, we have 50,000 followers.
Nice.
Just following our business credit building Facebook page. We have 100,000 people that email us on a regular basis. I mean, we're just, we're out there. And I think people are finally waking up to it. As a matter of fact, when COVID hit, our sales skyrocketed because people finally went, oh my God, I got what they're saying. I get what they've been saying. I need business credit. I'm running out of revenue here. I can't survive without credit.
Right.
So
I can't pay payroll. I mean, obviously you need to.
Yeah. And again, it doesn't give you cash, but what it does is it takes away from you using your cash for everything. So again, the widgets, right? I buy $100,000 worth of widgets. If I get 30 days, that gives me 30 days to play with that money so I can flatten my cash flow curve.
Yeah.
Right? Because look, you know it, I know it. You're doing $12 million a year. It doesn't look like this on the books. 1 million in January, 1 million in February, 1 million in March. It doesn't look like that, right?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, it's 1.2 million, 800,000, 950, 1.3, 750, God forbid, after a big month, which is usually how it goes.
In a perfect world, it would be $1 million a month. Yeah.
Right. Because then we could all manage our cash flow. But then that happens. And then when that 700,000 a month happens, you're like, oh my God, I got bills from the 1.2 million a month I got to pay. And I only generated 700,000. Right. That's why business owners are always stressed. People who go, boy, it must be nice to be an overnight success, have no idea what it's like to run a business. I do. You're the last one paid.
Yeah.
Right?
And
so if you could flatten that cash flow where I could use a Mark who sold me widgets, say, hey, Mark, give me some terms because I'm going to, looks like this month is going to be slow. Just give me 60 days. I'll take care of it. And if you're comfortable with it, that flattens that cash flow issue. I still got money for payroll. I still got money for rent. Still got money for the electric, whatever it is I'm paying, because my vendors have allowed me that window, that flexibility. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what business credit's really about.
And another plug for that too, since we're on this topic, how are you able to leverage your business credit? Because most people, at least I believe for my listeners, they don't know how to leverage their business credit to be able to learn how to attain multiple properties. How did you learn to leverage your business credits to be able to attain over 300 properties when you were doing a real estate investing?
Well, let's talk about real estate. So real estate's always going to require good personal credit. All right. I know
Yeah.
there's gurus out there talking about no money down and you don't need credit. Yeah, and the courses are $10,000.
You
And
just
when
want
you're
to dig in
done,
your pocket. Yeah.
yeah, and when you're done, you basically have a $10,000 bill and a whole bunch of paper to look at. But look, here's the deal. I didn't take any
Right.
courses. I just dove in. Um, I had good personal credit. I wanted to protect my good personal credit because I knew I needed it to buy properties. Now there's hard money where you don't need good credit. You can have average credit, but then the deal's got to be good. But you still got to put up cash, right? You still got to put some skin in the game. So in order to protect my personal credit, I had to have a game plan. So I'm going to ask you this because most people already know the answers to this. What happens if you have too many inquiries on your credit score?
You
On
get
your credit report?
denied for anything.
No. If you have too many inquiries, what happens to your score? It goes down, right?
Oh, it goes down. Yeah. If you're spending
Right,
too
right.
much money, you're not, yeah.
All right.
And
So you're
immediately.
looking for too much credit. So your increase is like
Correct.
two, I think it's 2.5 points per inquiry. What happens if you max out a personal credit card? What does your score do?
Oh, it goes down.
Correct. So let's say you have a ton of loans and car payments and credit card payments and your debt to income ratio is all out of whack. You're going to get approved for anything? No,
Nope.
no, because you can't afford it. Looks like you can't afford it.
Yeah, on paper, which is
Now let's do it a different way. Your car is no longer in your name. It's in the business name. It's not on your credit report anymore. All right. Your credit cards always have a zero balance because you don't use them. Right. Your what else? Any cash loans that you need in the business that you get in the business name, even your personal guarantee, aren't reporting on your personal credit. They're only reporting on your business or not reporting at all. Right.
right.
So now you're going to buy a property and they look and you've got zero utilization, no real revolving debt. Your credit score is 775 to 850. You think you're going to get approved?
I don't think so because there's not enough experience, right? Or not enough time.
No. You are going to get approved. Is my point. You've eliminated that debt from your personal credit portfolio,
Right.
moved it into your business. You're still got a great credit score. It's a lot easier to get a loan that way because you're not worried about your debt to income ratio, right? There's no minimum payments to have to worry about.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm talking about. So how was I able to leverage it? I stopped using personal credit. I got high limit credit with all the places I needed to flip these properties as far as rehabbing them. I got high limit business credit cards that were tied to my business, not tied to me. My vehicles were in the company name, not tied to me. I used hard money to buy the properties. Then I would get a blanket loan when I kept them to refi out of that hard money. And it would go in the business name. I personally guarantee it because I had good credit, but it didn't report on my personal credit.
Right.
So you don't want, nobody's going to let you get 50 mortgages in your personal name. It's not going to happen, right? You can personally guarantee it. You just don't want it reporting on your personal credit. So you get commercial loans, right? But you can't do that unless you have equity. So this is a long drawn out thing I'm talking about, but it really wasn't that hard to do. You just had to plan for it. And it all started with building your business credit profile, right?
And that took you 6 to 9 months to get it
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah,
Okay.
about 9 months. So I think it's gonna be, no, actually, I think it took me over 12 because I didn't have the platform that we have. I knew how to do it, but didn't know who to go to and which order. So it was a lot of bang in my head. That's the one thing I love about what we have. I'll use this euphemism. You're in the West Coast, right?
Yeah.
So if
Cali.
I said,
Yeah.
I know. So if I said, hey, Mark, do me a favor. I want you to drive to Tampa, okay, to
Okay.
123 Main Street in Tampa, and we're going to take down every street sign on the way. There'll be no highway signs, no nothing, and you don't get a GPS. You get nothing but the sun and the moon. How long do you think it's going to take you to get to 123 Main Street in Tampa without asking anybody?
Forever, unless I go buy a map. And even
You,
with the buying
you
the
don't.
map, I haven't used it since I was 5 years old because
Well,
my parents did teach me a little
you
bit.
don't even get a map. You get nothing.
Oh, no map. I'll
So
never get there.
I'm thinking the way you do that is you get in your car, you drive to where the sun rises, right? Because now you know you're heading east, right? The
Right.
sun's rising over there. I'm driving east till I hit water, right? Now I hit the ocean. Okay. Hopefully I'm in the middle of the country. So I know I got to make a right to get to Florida, right? I'm heading down to Florida, but now the question is, how far into Florida do I go? And how do I know I'm even in Florida, right? And then next thing you know, you're in Key West. You go, damn it, too far. Got to go back up again. See my point? It would not be easy,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
So
Without an outline. Yeah.
that's what building business credits like when you don't have the roadmap, you don't have the GPS. That's really what we are. We're the guidance system. We're going to show you exactly who to go to in what order, so we speed up that process. Yes, can you do it on your own? 100%. Will it take you a lot longer? Absolutely.
But you had
Absolutely.
mentors though, right? Didn't you have a
Yes.
mentor?
Sure. Remember, I grew up in an industry that required business credit. In the manufacturing world, you have to have it. You don't survive. So I
Right.
understood what business credit was. I knew what Dun& and Bradstreet was. I knew what a Dunn's number was. Like, I knew all of that. Didn't even know that I knew it. It was just something that was talked about all the time. Like, I heard it in
Right.
conversation at the dinner table. My dad would talk about it. So I
Absolutely.
understood what it was. In the manufacturing world, you have to have credit. You have to have it. So when I got into real estate, it wasn't weird for me. It just seemed normal. You just build business credit. I didn't know what I was doing was so unusual in that industry. So when I was telling other people about it, like, what are you talking about? I'm like, what? You don't have a business credit profile? Now you understand why I got so excited when I found this company.
Yeah,
Right? I was like,
absolutely.
somebody's teaching it, because I can remember how many times I've had a conversation with somebody about it, and they look at me like I had three heads. What a D&B profile? What's a D&B? Or better yet, I hear, what's my? I have a DUMS number. I have a Dunes number. What? Like, they wouldn't even know what it was.
Yeah, because this education isn't taught, and most people don't bother to look for it either.
Not taught in business school, which shocks me. They teach
Yeah,
MLM marketing in business school, multi-level marketing, but they don't teach about business credit. But I'll tell you what, grab any CFO of any company doing over $50 million, get them on your show, ask them if they know what business credit is. They will know it by like the back of their hands. Every
absolutely.
every major company knows about it because they couldn't survive without it. Right?
Yeah,
Go. Matter of fact, it's free. You guys want to invest $50? Go to D&B and pull Walmart's business credit profile. Where do you see how many trade lines are there? Right? You could pull any company you know that's major. Pull Amazon, pull M&M Mars. Doesn't matter. You're going to find them. They have one, and then you'll see what I'm talking about. And I got to be boring people at this point, right?
no, you're not. I'm literally attaining it, and if the people are bored, that they don't have to listen to this episode. That's okay. I believe if you're not intrigued by this episode, you guys, then you are on the wrong podcast. Go to another one. My portfolio is very diversified, but this is very educational. Tell me about 7 secrets to getting approved for a loan, even with challenge personal credit. I guess this is a very
Yeah, this is, look,
controversial one. Or
we call them 7 secrets. It sounds to me like you've been to our website. Um, there's look, it's always going to be cash flow, credit, or collateral, right? So there are multiple revenue loans out there. They're very expensive. There's purchase order financing. There's receivable financing. There's equipment financing. There's equipment buyback, leasebacks, where they'll buy your equipment, lease it back to you. So they'll give you cash. There is, you name it. There's a multitude of loans out there. There's literally hundreds of different types of loans. And we have access to that information. So when you build your business credit with us, you not only get to build your business credit, you get access to our whole finance team that will help you find a loan when you're ready for it, or if you need it. Okay. And we use our negotiating power to get you better rates. So when I say 7 secrets, one of them is build your business credit profile. 2, make sure your fundability factors are good. 3, have cash flow. 4, be profitable. 5, work on your personal, or 6, work on your personal credit. Okay. And 7, put together a P&L. Let's see it. Let's see all this in writing. So you can have good personal credit and no cash flow, and you can get some startup capital. You can have bad personal credit and really good cash flow and get a loan, because they're going to base it based on your ability to pay back. You can't have neither. You've got to have something to get cash. Okay. I can tell you, if you have good personal credit, good cash flow, and a good business credit profile, the world's your oyster. You get whatever you want. Seriously, whatever
yeah,
you want. All right. And I hear this a lot. I have a good business credit profile. Why can't I get a loan? I go, well, all right, let's figure it out. How much revenue are you doing? Well, I don't have any revenue yet. Okay. So let's pretend I'm an 850 credit score, which is the max credit score you could be, but I don't have a job. Do you think a mortgage company is going to give me $1 million mortgage?
no,
They're not even going to give me a $10,000 mortgage, right? I don't have a job. I have no revenue. How am I going to pay it back?
yeah, you're a
Right?
liability. You're a huge liability.
Yeah. But I get that question all the time. What do you mean I can't get a loan? I'm like, if you don't have any revenue, how are you going to pay it back? Well, if I get the revenue, and this is always the same thing, if they give me the loan, then I'll get the revenue. No, it doesn't work that way. Not in the real world, right? Well, I can. It's just like saying, hey, if you give me $1 million, I'll invest in the stock market. And I guarantee it'll be 2 million. No, you won't. You can't guarantee anything, right? So that's it. Where are we at on time?
Yeah, 1 second. I have a couple more questions. My laptop's dying. We'll get 1 sec. I like this one the most. Just because I've seen that you've prior to COVID, you've done public speaking jobs. What do you say for the people that are looking to eventually be a public speaker or motivator for certain goals that they should try to attain prior to looking to do that? Just because some people want to do it, but don't have enough background of like what you guys said or what you told me as well. People want to motivate in financial literacy, but don't have transparent backgrounds in the sense of actual, completions of saying what they've done. What would you say to people that are looking to be able to be in that kind of realm or opportunity?
Okay. That's a great question. And I didn't expect that at all. This is not a pre-warned about question. So the answer I give you is going to be exactly what comes off the top of my head. Everybody has experience with something, right? So if that's the area you want to go into, you got to lean on personal experience, whatever you know about it from your personal experience, right? So I talk about real estate and printing because that's what I know, right? If you don't have any experience, if you're brand new, you're just getting out of college, you don't have any experience, get a mentor, get around somebody who has stories. I'm not afraid to share somebody else's story. I have no problem with it. I've done that on stage. I've talked about things that have happened, and I've mentioned who they were, not by last name, but by their first name. I tell my personal stories. It's if you want to learn something, you've got to dive in, and you've got to find somebody that you look up to, that you believe in, to guide you. And that doesn't necessarily mean you have to pay for it. You'd be surprised how many people are willing to do that for free, right? You'd be amazed at how many people are willing to do that for free. By the way, you're muted, Mark. But
Thank you.
In my case, when you talk about people who want to speak on stage or whatever, I'm going to tell you how I learned how to speak on stage. I'll tell you how I learned how to do webinars first. So I'm sitting in the office. I'm sitting in the office, and our CEO comes out and says, "Hey, you want to do a webinar?" Well, I'm brand new. I'm like 3 months in. I'm not going to say no to anything the CEO asks for, right? If it's not illegal. Right. Sure, I'll do it. Sure, I'll do it. I look at him and I go, "So what's a webinar?" He goes, "What? What's a webinar? You don't know what a webinar is?" I'm like, "No." He goes, "Do you have YouTube?" I'm like, "No." I'm like, I read. I'm not a big fan of Anyhow, so he shows me what a webinar is. I do one, scared to death, have no idea how I'm going to do it, but I do talk really fast.
Yeah.
Just naturally. So this 1 hour webinar, I got done in 21 minutes. And he was like, "What are you doing? It's supposed to be an hour long. You're supposed to teach people." I'm like, I told him at a really fast speed.
So yeah, and adapt quickly or don't,
No, well, here's what it was. I learned from that. I learned, you've got to know who you are, right? Slow down. I was scared to death. When I'm scared, I go fast.
Right.
So I after a while, I started doing more and more. I would have a metronome sitting on my phone, that tick, 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 like they use for piano, because that would keep my pace lower. I could follow that. I'd hear that metronome in my headset or whatever. Now going on stage, there's only one way to do it. Get out there. Everybody that you talk to who does it is scared. Every single person. I have talked to, I don't want to mention them by name, but one of the top motivational speakers in the world.
Right.
And I said, "Man, what's it like your first time going out on stage?" Blah, blah. He said, "Scared every single time, Steve. Every single time. I don't care if it's my 5,000th time I've done it this year. Every time I'm just as nervous as I am the first time." So I said, "That's great." I said, "What was your solution to get over that?" He said, "You can't." He said, "However, you could have routines. You want to have routines that become normal." So I always listen to music at a certain pace. Like, I'm an old school metalhead. I do not listen to metal music before I go on stage because I'm going to be hyped up, right? So I put on a style of music that was good, that slowed me down, kept my pace low.
Right.
But you just got to do it. And if you enjoy talking, as I obviously do,
it's okay.
It's real easy to blur out whatever's in front of you and just focus on one person. Matter of fact, that's what was one of my things. I like to look people right in the eye sometimes making them uncomfortable, and talk like I was talking to them, like I'm looking at you right now.
Right.
Right. Even though you might have 1,000 people behind you, I only see you. Then I take my eyes off you and go to somebody else on this side of the stage.
Absolutely.
Right. And if you're going to do it, learn tonality. Right.
Advanced tonality.
Yeah, you've got to learn. It's, we call it NLP training, but if you listen to somebody, look, here's what I loved it. When you listen to commercials, when Morgan Freeman comes on and does a commercial, do your ears not perk up? That dude just has amazing voice, amazing tonality, right? James Earl Jones, same thing, right? That's because they understand tonality, right? They get it. So if you're gonna do something like that, you're gonna teach people something. Teachers are really good at this. You got to use tonality. Nobody wants to hear this. Bueller, Bueller, Bueller.
Yeah.
Right. Nobody wants to.
Monotone. That's
Yeah.
boring.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Be
keep
excited
your
about what
interest.
you're talking about. If you're not excited about what you're talking about, then find something else to talk about, or at least fake it till you make it. So
Right.
that's, now this has nothing to do with business credit, but that's just, personal growth. I have a blast with it. This is why I do these podcasts, right? It's just so much fun to me.
Yeah, it's fun and it's educational, and we're creating currency. Sure, we're not making money from this right now, but we're creating currency, and I'm attaining knowledge, and you're as well giving knowledge to people, and that's empowering. And so it's
Yeah,
more.
I love it. I love it. I meet a lot of great people at this, but I wouldn't care if I never did a podcast. I would still go to BNI's when they open the world back up again, business networking events, and talk to people about business credit. And it's really easy. Hey, Mark, how are you? Nice to meet you. What do you do? You own a widget company? Hey, how's your business credit profile? Have you ever looked at it? That's all I got to ask. That's it. Off to the races.
I've actually never looked at my business credit profile.
Of course not.
I've never looked at it. I'm learning, and that's why I was really grateful to have had your time for this, because I've learned a lot. And not only that, prior to getting on this call with you, I've watched like 10, 15 videos on your website, been learning more and more, and I'm going to continue to learn more. And then I'm going to have my own podcast about what I've learned and what I recommend or suggest people to do, obviously, because I'm not.
Right.
But you said you read a lot. What are like top 3 or top 5 books that you like to read? Just because I do always ask if
Don't laugh. Don't laugh.
Okay, I'm gonna laugh.
I am rereading Atlas Shrugged, which I read when I was 12 years old, but I'm rereading it again. Right.
Yeah.
So I read books like that. I read a lot of financial stuff, obviously. I'm a big fan of day trading. I'm not great at it, but I love it. So I'm reading psychology books about that, about day trading, because day trading or basically futures trading is more about psychology. People think it's technical. No, it's psychology.
It's a mental game. It's all a mental game.
It's all about fear, right?
Right, and overcoming it.
It's not only about your fear, it's about what other people think of your fear. And when I say other people, you get these big hedge funds, they know you're out there. They know at some point they're going to make you scared and get you out of that trade. You have to understand that they understand that. So you have to counter that. Like it's one of those, I know that you know that I know deals. Right?
Absolutely.
So I'm a big fan of that. I mean, The Art of War is probably my #1 book I've ever read.
Art of War. I just bought that book 2 weeks ago.
I've read that 6 times. I don't care where you are politically, but I read The Art of the Deal back in the late 80s from Donald Trump, because I was from the Northeast. He was the man when it came to real estate investing, right?
Right.
So I read his book, right? And then when I read it, I went, oh man, this is The Art of War, just in English, plainer terms, right? So it doesn't matter. If it interests me, I'll read it. I read a book called Scaling Up. I'm reading a book called The Infinite Game right now. Actually, our entire leadership is reading that, The Infinite Game versus the Finite Game. Real quick, finite game is dealing with what's in front of you right now, having these goals that are real close. The infinite game is thinking at a 30,000 foot level, looking down at the board and going, wait, I shouldn't be so worried about X. I should be planning for Y based on what I'm seeing on the board. So it's finite, infinite thinking, man. All kinds of stuff, man.
Yeah, I love that. And then last question or last statement. This is something as well I always like to, whoever I have on office today, thank you so much for your time again. What are 3 things that you feel that you may be lacking in that you will assure me and assure yourself ultimately for this new week coming up that you will work on and get better at, because you, like me, have a lot of hobbies.
Time management, number one thing.
Right.
I'm terrible at time. I've never been good at it. To be honest with you, I've never been. I'm not an organized person. Never have been. And I don't know it's because I don't want to be, because if I focused on it, I could be. I think it's because I operate better in chaos. It's the
Right.
craziest thing, but I
Under
actually do.
pressure.
I love when things, yes, exactly. That's why I've been commissioned my whole life too. Even when I owned the company, I paid myself as a commission rep, because if I didn't kill it, I didn't eat it, right?
It's do or
Um,
die.
yes. So I really need to get better. And my wife claims I'm getting better as I get older, so that's good. My desk doesn't look, it's not a wreck now. I can actually see the wood
Yeah.
on it. Um, the other thing
Hilarious.
I need to do, and it's really hard for everybody out there listening, I'm sure, because a lot of us are working from home, it's very difficult to turn it off, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
one of the things I loved about driving to and from an office was driving to, I could get geared up for the day. I think about my plan for the day. That was my reflection time on the way to work. And
Absolutely.
on the way home, I could leave it behind me and begin thinking about what I want to do when I get home and the plans I have. And so it decompressed me a little bit. Now I walk 12 feet, right?
Yeah, to
So
your office.
I,
Yeah.
I wake up, I'm up every day at 5 a.m. It's a Marine Corps habit. I haven't broken it ever. And at 5:05, I'm at work. Even though I have nothing to do as far as phone calls or anything, like nobody's letting me call them at 5 a.m. obviously, but I'm organizing my day. I'm looking to see what I got going on. I'm reading,
Yeah.
and then the problem is 5 p.m. comes, I go, okay, I'm going to shut down, or 6 p.m., whatever time I want to shut down. And I walk out to the kitchen, which is, like I said, 10 feet away, talk to my wife, blah, blah, blah. And then about 6:30, I find myself creeping into the office again. And I'm looking
Right.
to see, hey, has anybody shot me an email tonight? Is there, oh, did I miss a phone call from anybody? It's crazy. I do it on Saturdays and Sundays too. It's foolish, because you will burn out. And I found myself burning out. So I gotta take time to get away.
What do you
Just
do to disconnect?
I play golf. I'm back to golf again.
Nice.
Um, I like bourbon too.
Yeah, because that no, I that's really ultimate for me. It's really hard to, because I love to work and I get stuff from my girlfriend like, hey, you need to stop, but it's just I don't know how to. And then sometimes it's either working out or having a drink, because if not,
Yeah,
that's the only way for me to disconnect and really not think about it.
yeah. See, the gym bores me. I need something competitive, and going to the
Right.
gym and seeing if I can lift more than the guy next to me doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah,
But out on the golf course, it's competitive,
it is competitive.
right?
It
So
is competitive.
I love that. I always find the youngest kid I can. When I say kid, somebody in their 20s who's obviously stronger than me, they're younger than me, more flexible than me, and I go, let's play,
Let's go.
because I want to beat them. I want to beat them, and I may not beat
Absolutely.
them, but I don't care. I want to.
Yeah.
So that's it's funny. My wife asked me that one time. It's the only time I don't think about work. It's the only time I can. And I grew up in the corporate world, right? So my business, my printing company, I sold to big corporations, right? And they would say, "Oh, the best business deals happen on a golf course," and I used to laugh at that, because I had a lot of customers I would take golfing. We never talked about business,
Right.
because we all had the same mentality. No, no, no. I'm out here to decompress from business. I don't want to think about work.
Absolutely.
So anyway, um, so that's two. You said I had to have three.
Yeah. Three. I
Jeez,
got to
man,
roll a three. I
you're
got to roll a
piling,
three.
you're piling on me. Okay, my third thing, I'm gonna get my office painted this week. How about that?
Okay, that's cool. See,
I'm gonna get it,
that's something valuable.
and you can't see it, but if I look to my right, there's 2 gallons of paint sitting right there. So I've been preparing for it for weeks. It's sitting right there. So
Awesome.
I'm gonna get that taken care of. Get rid of this olive drab background. That's it. That's my three.
Okay, for sure. Well, I like those three. My three, I'm gonna fuck it. I'm gonna start with that. Time management. I could be better at time management. And second, spending more time with my family. Haven't been doing that as much because I've been so into my own thing. And then the third one is always the hardest, but I think is just learning to become a better person. I feel that I really take time on Sundays at the end of the day just to see and reflect on how I can become better, just implementing better, just in the sense of staying calm in every situation. Like, for example, yesterday I was skating to the office. I was going to, one of the different companies where you can use your virtual office. And I fell really hard. Usually I would have got up and just cussing, right? I just got up and I was like, okay, like that fall was pretty hard, but you know what? Like it woke me up. I feel more awake now, So it's just it's all about perspective. And yeah.
No doubt.
My last question is, when are you free for another call? But this one will be only 20 minutes in the next couple of weeks, because I know you've been taking time for your podcast. So I know you want to disconnect. Want to be a good time for that.
I think next Friday I can do it. Let me check.
Okay.
Next Friday's the 27th. Yes, I know you're West Coast. I got a meeting at 2, 3, and 4. So anytime after 12 up until 2. So any between 12 and 2. So 9 and 9 and 11 for you.
9 and 11 for me. Okay, perfect. So
yeah, just shoot me an email and I'll
put
you on my calendar.
Okay, yep. Cool. All right, Stephen. Well, hey, everybody. This is so we can have my editor put it in. Office of the day with Stephen Wible, the real estate investor, the business credit developer, I would just say a knowledge provider in the sense of business. If you guys are in business and you aren't thinking about business credit, you guys should be. And I'll let him say the last couple of words, but thank you again for your time today.
Okay, I would just suggest that if everybody wants to learn a little bit more about it, go to creditsuite.com/pod, like podcast, POD-EIN. POD-EIN. Download a free guide. If you want to talk to me, you can reach out to me directly. You can go to info@creditsuite.com and just say, hey, I want to talk to Steve. I'm happy to call you. No pressure. I'm not going to sell you anything. I'm just going to educate you a little bit. Okay?
Exactly, you guys. It's all about attaining knowledge. Thank you again. And thank you for your time. And I hope you have a great weekend. I'll talk to you soon. Okay?
My pleasure, Mark.
All right. Bye-bye.